morning, and I am the Angry Cook. Today, we're going to do a little fall-winter dish. We're going to do lasagna. So what we need, looks like a lot. It's not really a big deal, as always. We're going to be doing a meat sauce. For the cheese, we're going to be doing ricotta and mozzarella and some freshly grated Parmesan. Freshly grated Parmesan. Freshly. Lasagna noodles. Let's go down the list. For the meat sauce, we're going to be doing about a pound of sausage, Italian sausage. I'm using links. I'm going to be cutting up and cooking sliced links. You can add the whole thing, loose sausage, to your meats if you want to. This is the way my dad did it. This is the way I want to do it. About a pound and a half of lean ground beef. You're going to be taking the fat off, so the less fat you have in it, the less you're going to be removing. About 8 ounces of mushrooms. 24 ounces of pasta sauce. We're using jarred pasta sauce. Marinara, actually. If you got fresh, use fresh. I don't have any fresh. I'm not making a big pot of pasta sauce for lasagna. This works just fine. Let's see. Teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, quarter teaspoon of red pepper flakes, just to give a little bit. You'll barely taste it at all. Just going to add some zing to it. Half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. For the cheese filling, we're going to be using eggs, 2 eggs beaten, 2 pounds of ricotta, 8 ounces of mozzarella cubed, 2/3 of a cup of fresh grated Parmesan, fresh grated, not the canned shit. It's terrible. It's got cellulose and other stuff in it. A lot of it does. Not everyone does. A lot of it does. Don't eat it. Ever. Quarter cup of fresh parsley, or 4 teaspoons of dry. Teaspoon of salt. Quarter teaspoon ground pepper. Pound of lasagna noodles. Don't use a no boil. I don't think it has the same flavor as boiled noodles do. We're going to boil these in salted water, and for a change, we're going to be rinsing them and storing them in cold water. 8 more ounces of mozzarella cheese, and half a cup of grated Parmesan. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to slice up our sausage. That's not for show. The most dangerous thing in the kitchen when it's dull. When it's sharp, it's dangerous also, but it's less dangerous than when it's dull and slips and cuts you. Keep your knives sharp. Wait for Jade to make an appearance. And she will. I'm going to leave the casings on. Again, because my dad did. And I happen to like that. Oh, here we come. I knew she'd make it over here. I would slice about 1/2 inch. Come on. Alright, we're going to put these in a saute pan. Cut one of the cut sides down, of course, because we want to saute that. using a combination of mild and hot, because that's what I have. Use whatever you like. You can use Jimmy Dean for all I care. It's your lasagna. It's not mine. Alright. Cold pan. Put it on about between medium and medium high. We're going to start our, no we're not. Ha! We're going to be, we happen to get sliced mushrooms this time. I don't recommend sliced mushrooms because they go bad too quick. I recommend whole mushrooms because they keep for a little bit. We're going to be roughly chopping these. And I'm not worrying about the stems or any other crap right now. Alright. Now, let's start the beef, shall we? We're going to wait till the pan heats up for the beef because it's less likely to stick when the pan's warm. And because we're using a lower fat, that makes a difference. Throw just a touch of oil in the bottom, even though this is a non-stick, and I mean just a touch, like a teaspoon or something like that. Alright, we're in the low 300s, so let's get rid of that thing, whatever it was. We're going to brown this, the beef, chopping it apart to get it separated as much as we can. Should take 5 or 7 minutes, whatever. Alright, as you can see, we're browning up nicely. We're turning the sausage. Just put a little oil in here, but I didn't. The easiest way to do it, a strainer over your grease pot, pan, or pot, pan, can, pot, can, pan, pot. Okay, I moved the camera and forgot to plug it in, so you missed everything. I browned the sausage, took the sausage out, put it on a plate. I drained the ground beef, drained it dry. I added the mushrooms. I added the Italian seasoning, the pepper flakes, and the salt and pepper. And did I say I added the mushrooms? I think I did. Anyway, what we did is we cooked the mushrooms until the pot was basically dry. We wanted to get all the water out of the mushrooms, and we did. Then I added the marinara and about half a cup of water to rinse out the jar We wanted every bit of it. And now we're bringing it up to a simmer for 2 hours. We want a gentle simmer, not a big rough simmer, a very gentle simmer for 2 hours. And I'll see you in a couple hours, I think. Alright, 2 hours. And I just stirred this so it's not bubbling quite as much. But there it goes again. But we kept it at a low simmer. 2 hours. Next step, we're going to turn this off. Cool that down. Oh, by the way, I wanted to point this out. This is a fairly thick sauce. We don't want a thin, runny sauce going on our lasagna. We want it relatively thick, so make sure you get there. If not, cook it a little longer. Evaporate some more liquid. Anyway, we're going to cool this guy down. Next step, we're going to be making the cheese filling and cooking the noodles. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay, we're about time to get the cheese filling together and almost assembly time. So we diced up about 8 ounces of mozzarella. And we're going, get out of here. And we're going to beat 3 eggs together. Holy crap, am I unorganized. Beat 2 eggs together. Did I say 3? I think I said 3. Beat 2 eggs. 2 eggs. Beat well. Got our eggs cooling in some cool water over there. We're going to stir in our ricotta. I said we're going to stir in our ricotta. Get out of here. There we go. Broken up, and then we're going to add the rest of our stuff to it. Alright, we're going to add our mozzarella. Jade right behind me. Of course. We're going to add our quarter cup of fresh parsley, or 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon, which is 4 teaspoons of dry parsley. 2/3 of a cup of freshly ground Parmesan Reggiano. Whoop. A little spillage. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. That's a little more than a teaspoon. That's about a teaspoon. And a 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. How do I know? I don't. It's close enough. And we're going to mix thoroughly. And that looks very nice. And then the next thing we're going to do, we've got our marinara meat mixture. We've got our sausages. We have our noodles over here, and we're just about ready to start assembly. We'll be back in a minute and start assembling. Okay, we're back again and ready for assembly. Set your oven to 375 to preheat. We have a 9 by 13, which isn't proper. You should have a lasagna pan, which is something like 11 by 15 and 3 inches deep. I don't have one. I doubt that you do either, unless you're an Italian family. So we're going to make do with this. We are going to start by taking about a quarter of our mixture and placing it in the bottom of our pan. Alright, we're going to start our first layer of noodles. I'm going to go over the side. Let's do both sides, like that. Now, because we're not using a lasagna pan, we're probably going to have noodles left over. And that's okay too. I was going to say, none of these noodles broke, but one just did a little bit. Tear. Alright. Noodles, now we're going to do ricotta. We're going to do about a third of the ricotta on here. Whoa. And spread. Spread to the edges. Could probably use a spreader here, but I'm not going to dirty another utensil. Make do. Spread it out evenly. Try to get it as even as you can. Put a little bit more in here because I think right there and there. Over here. And here. Okay. Take another quarter of your sauce, of your marinara meat sauce. Jade's over there licking her chops like she knows what marinara meat sauce means. I can see out of the corner of my eye. I can. All this goodness. We're going to take our first layer of sausage and stick it on evenly. I think we might just do 2 layers. I think we will. So my sausage goes nicely. Nice little crunch, a little surprise at every bite. Alternate the next layer of canoodles. This is a trick my dad taught me. When it comes to some guy online or my dad, I'll take my dad every time. And then we're going to put another third of cheese on. I should tell you a story about my wife and lasagna, but I won't. There goes the oven. Again, push to the edges. Quarter the meat sauce. We got a heavy layer on the bottom, I think, but oh well. Without measuring it out, you just don't know. Put the rest of the meat bowls, or the sausage on. Don't be afraid to mess up. I'm not. I do it regularly. Alright. We're going to top this with the rest of our meat mixture. We're going to add mozzarella. We're going to put about half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan over it. I'm just going to grate it on top. I was toying with the idea of putting pecorino romano, which I think would be good with this too, so. Don't be caught by convention. Do what you want. We are going to put it on top of a sheet pan in case it drips, and these things usually do. And we're going to cover it with aluminum foil lightly. We're going to put it in the oven for half an hour. We're going to remove it, take the cover off, and cook it for another half hour. So in the oven, 375, 30 minutes. We'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, we're an hour in. We took the foil off at 30 minutes. It's now 30 minutes later, an hour total cooking. Let's take a look and see what we have. Ah! We have heat, that's what we have. Oh! Look at that. Bubble, bubble. We're going to let that rest for about 20 minutes. And we're going to eat. So there it is. Lasagna in not a standard pan. If you want to do this a lot, I'd recommend you get a full lasagna pan, one of the 15 by whatever it is pans. I use all the ingredients instead of only part of them. But I think it looks awesome. We will see you later. Thanks again for joining the Angry Cook.